All right, so everybody's talking about these South African refugees that just arrived in the United States of this here America. I don't know how I feel about it. Is this what Donald Trump's plan was, to get rid of the brown people and bring in the white people? I don't know. But they are here, and I really don't know how I feel about it. Black Alpha Network is doing a live stream on it tonight, so I'm going to have to catch it. I just want to get a taste of what foundational Black Americans are saying about this. A lot of foundational Black Americans back Trump, and so I want to know how they feel about him allowing South African refugees to come to this country in the midst of deporting others. This is crazy. I have an article. Let me go and fetch my article and I'll be right back, okay? Well, all right.
BeeSparrow, 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 BeeSparrow. Yo, dog, it's BeeSparrow. Like, share, and subscribe. This belief is gonna bring it live. Information, world news, current events, the source. Accurate as a fingerprint. A cool sister, a force for the people. Attacking real enemies, strategy that's lethal. There will be no sequels, so get your tickets. A cool place for you to sit back and kick it, or get evicted. Dialogue to begin to the bottom of it. We can agree to disagree, hate it or love it. Either way, she's sitting and talking like an arrow. Introducing ladies and gentlemen, BeeSparrow.
What is up, y'all? You're listening to BeeSparrow on Buzzz Tweet Talk Radio.
So yeah, the first batch of South African refugees arrived a couple of days ago. Let's talk about it. White Afrikaners leave South Africa to be refugees in the United States. Trump administration welcomes the first batch of white Afrikaners while U.S. cuts off refugee programs to other countries. Wow. This coming from out of Johannesburg. Now, white South Africans arrive as refugees in Washington, D.C., y'all. All those migrants that was dropped off in Washington, D.C. when I was there. Busloads and busloads of migrants dropped off at Union Station every day. So while U.S. President Trump seeks to limit immigration, he made an exception for white South Africans. According to observers, they are not persecuted and there is no threat of land theft either. So why are they welcomed? Did you hear what I said? Now refugees are people that have been threatening their land, so they have to leave. They threaten and have to leave. It says there are no prosecuted South Africans and there is no threat of land theft either. Ain't nobody trying to steal their land. There's black South Africans trying to take their land back. Right? So a charter plane carrying 59 white South Africans arrived at Dulles International Airport outside of Washington, D.C. on Monday. Today is Friday. For these 59 people, including families and children, the United States is their new home. United States President Donald Trump himself had fast-tracked their arrival. Back in February, he had announced a new program to take in refugees from South Africa who, in his view, were suffering from racist policies. Wow, Donald Trump. Are you serious? They suffer from racist policies from whom? Black South Africans? Like the way the white South Africans did them years ago and the way that white people did us years ago and still do us today? While many refugees wait years before they are approved to travel to the United States, according to this article, the Afrikaners who arrived on Monday were admitted under 3 months. 3 months On Monday, Trump said he was admitting these people as refugees because of a genocide that's taking place in South Africa. He also said that in post-apartheid South Africa, white farmers are being killed. Trump was responding to a new law signed by South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. And look, that's how it looked to me. Ramaphosa, look, that's how it looked to me. Anyway, in January, that regulates the expropriation of private property and possible compensation. The article goes on to say the idea that white farmers feel that their land is under threat is wrong on every level. That's what Tessa Dooms said, who is the director of the Rivonia Circle think tank in Johannesburg. Anyway, excuse me. When they talk about white genocide, there is a long-standing narrative that has been built over the last 15 years amongst Afrikaner communities that farmers who are mainly white have been targeted specifically for crime and have been murdered specifically. That is untrue, she added. I don't believe it either. I don't believe that. Sure, we want our land back, but I'm telling you, if them South Africans want their land back so bad, if they have to, they probably would. The high murder rate in South Africa could also reflect white South Africans as part of society, but black South Africans, mostly young men, are murdered more frequently. With the high level of gender-specific violence in the country, the probability of black women being murdered is much higher than for white farmers. I need to say that again. He says with the high level of gender-specific violence in the country, the probability of white women being murdered is much higher than for white farmers. So, Donald Trump believes that white farmers are being murdered at a rapid rate, but this South African says that black women being murdered is a much higher rate than for white farmers. In her view, the U.S. giving South Africans refugee status is a very concerning development. It is based on lies, on false narratives, and propaganda that is purely fictional. Afrikaners, also known as Boers, are white descendants of Dutch and other European migrants or immigrants. Today, they make up around 7% of South Africa's population. Isn't it amazing how their population are so small, but they get to rule over people? Like, during the slavery time, they were really outnumbered by the slaves. They were outnumbered by black people, period, in those times. But yet, they were the ones in control. I find that very disturbing.
They had the guns.
I guess, but black people got guns now. So it says there is no persecution of white Afrikaners in South Africa. South African Foreign Minister Ronald Lamola told this website, DW, which is where I got the article from. This has been proven by a number of statistics in our country, including police reports which do not back that assertion of persecution of white South Africans on the basis of their race. The crime that we have in South Africa affects everyone, irrespective of race, he said. According to Dooms, no major land reform is taking place either, even though we were dispossessed for centuries by racist colonial policies, right? To this day, white South Africans owned around 4/5 of private farmland in South Africa. During the colonial era and the racist apartheid regime, white South Africans regularly took possession of land owned by black people, just like here in the United States during slavery time. However, Trump and his close advisor, South African-born Elon Musk, portrayed South Africa's new land on the expropriation, I don't know how to pronounce that name, of private land as a redistribution initiative to the detriment of South Africa's white population. The government in Pretoria has rejected this and insists that similar laws exist in most countries around the world, including the United States. The law creates a legal framework for expropriating land from private owners for an overriding public interest. For example, if it is needed for roads without proving compensation to the owner. So, it says, Afrikaners who have accepted U.S. Donald Trump's resettlement program are aware that there is no persecution of white people in the country, but are taking advantage of the opportunity to go to America, he told the South African paper The Citizen. By mid-March, more than 67,000 South Africans had already registered to immigrate to the U.S., according to the South African Chamber of Commerce in the U.S. I just think that this is such a slap in the face to black people and to a lot of white Americans. Oh. This article goes on to say, Trump, a savior of Christianity. And it says, it has very little to do with South Africa's empirical realities and everything to do with Trump positioning himself as a savior of white privilege and Christianity globally. It says, in fact, ties between Pretoria and Washington have been strained for years. South Africa's proximity to the other BRICS countries, especially China and Russia, has been a thorn in the side of the last two U.S. administrations. Relations deteriorated further following South Africa's lawsuit against Israel for genocide against Palestinians in Gaza at the International Court of Justice in The Hague of the late 2023. Shortly after Donald Trump took office, again in January 2025, ties reached another low point. I'm just going to ask the Most High to fix this, Lord. I'm just going to ask the Most High to look into the hearts of his people, his children, black Americans, foundational black Americans. Look into the heart of us, see how we feel about it, and help us with it, Most High, y'all. That's what I ask in the name of your Son, Yahshua HaMashiach. Let this be your will, Lord. Protect your people from what's to come. Let me know what y'all think about this. Like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to hit up the Fiction and Flame website for your reading pleasure. It's your girl, BeeSparrow, Buzzz Tweet Talk Radio, y'all. Holla at your girl, okay? Well, all right.
Buzzz Tweet Radio.
BeeSparrow, 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 BeeSparrow. Yo, dog, it's BeeSparrow. Like, share, and subscribe. This release is gonna bring it live. Information, world news, current events, the source. Accurate as a fingerprint. A cool sister, a force for the people. Attacking real enemies, strategy that's lethal. There will be no sequels, so get your tickets. A cool place for you to sit back and kick it. We'll be fiction. Dialogue till we get to the bottom of it. We can agree to disagree, hate it or love it. Either way, she's sitting and talking like an arrow. Introducing ladies and gentlemen, BeeSparrow.